So I'm in the shop and I use this every day in addition to my square wheel one. And it's just a simple 2x72 belt grinder by Grizzly. So I thought, well, it'd be kind of nice to have another one around here, back up, you know, maybe just do flat grinding on it, maybe use one for metal, one for wood, whatever. And I looked on their website, it's like $825 plus $100 to ship it to you. I get that kind of money. So I thought, how hard can it be? Enter into the picture the 9-finger Mark 87, let's call it. Okay, so it's got a made in the USA Craftsman motor at 1 horsepower. It's got a 2x72 belt on it. 4-inch drive wheel because that motor spins at 3450. And a tracking wheel up here, same as on our square grinder. How's it work, you say? Well, this is just prototype, okay? So this is something I whipped together. We got the tracking up here. Let's check that out. Now we go in, we go out, we go in, we go out. Tracking works great. This is a proof of concept. I'll weld a couple of pieces here and here, and I'll be able to put a flat platen, be it angle iron or whatever, behind it. Let's see if I can do this with my hand. Kind of like this. So there'll be a piece there, and there'll be 2 pieces that go to that arm. So this prototype cost me about $30. This was free. What do you mean free? Facebook Marketplace, somebody was getting rid of an old Craftsman table saw, free. Tubing, you know, $20. These guys here, maybe, I don't know, another $20, so $40. In any case, $40 is a lot cheaper than $925. I'll show you how I made it. What you see here, or you found it interesting or useful, why don't you give that subscribe button a click. Maybe give us a like, maybe hit the little bell thingy, lets you know when we put up new videos. What? Huh? Oh, my lawyer would like a word with you.
Danger, Will Robinson! Danger! No, Will Robinson! Danger!
Okay, so here's my proof of concept for the simplified belt grinder. It's a 2x72 belt. It's a 4-inch drive wheel down here. There's a 3-inch idler tracking wheel up there. 1 horsepower Craftsman motor spinning at 3450. And then you can see this, I'm just using the tracking assembly from our 4-wheel grinder. There's another video I have on that, and I'll link that down in the description somewhere. But this is a 2-inch square tube, thick walled, 1/4 inch, big heavy stuff. This is a 1.5 square tube, again 1/4 inch. And then I have a tracking wheel and adjustment. So here it is. I just have it right now just wired into this. And there it is. So it's tracking. Tracking goes out. Tracking comes in. Tracking goes out. So my proof of concept says that this will work pretty good. Turn that off. I will replace this with a 6-inch wheel instead of a 4-inch, as I will also have this with a 6-inch wheel just because I'm experimenting with stuff. 6-inch will give me a little better, a little more, I don't know if it's better, but a little more feet per minute on the belt. And then I will make up some type of platen, you know, weld something here and here that comes up and have a platen underneath here so that you can flat grind stuff. And then if you want to hollow grind stuff, I think the 6-inch wheel will be a little better. So, I don't know, let's get started. Okay, so the first piece is this piece of angle iron. This is 3-inch angle iron, 3 inches from here to here and from here to here. And it's a 1/4 inch thick, so it's quite heavy. And all I did was at the drill press, I drilled this 1/2 inch hole in there, and I drilled these 2 1/4" holes. These are just going to be prototype, so I'm just going to screw them to a piece of plywood. I don't know that I'd recommend that for any kind of production thing, but just on my proof of concept, that will be fine. Okay, my next thing is the 2-inch tube. This has to fit inside there. It does, but there is a ridge where they welded this tube together. This tube started out as a flat plate and they bent it and then they welded the seam. And that weld leaves a ridge inside there. So what I do is I take that off with this thing. I bought this for 30 bucks on Amazon a couple of years ago. It's just a little belt grinder. There's a lot of ways you can take that off. I've seen guys literally hand file them off. I've seen guys, they get a piece of hardened steel and they pull it through on a threaded rod that cuts it off. I've seen that there's another guy out there that has a jig that you can use like a Dremel tool or a drill and a carbide burr to cut them off. This works fine for me. Okay, so I just grind her off. As long as I'm here, I'll deburr all these inner ones. This type of grinder is nice because you can get into the corners. It doesn't take very long to remove that burr, and you know, I'm only going that deep because that's all that I need to go. All right, that's probably good. Like I said, it doesn't take much time. It's a 60 grit build. Here is my tracking assembly. And let's see if this guy slides in here. Oh yeah, very nice. Very nice. Okay, so now the next thing, I got to drill this hole in here for a bolt. Why do you got to drill that hole in there for a bolt? This is the spring I use. It's a foot long. This thing's, I don't know, 28 inches long maybe. Where do I get this spring? I had this spring, I bought it from Amazon. They give you a, the company gives you sorry, I got it on eBay. And the company gives you all sorts of, you can tell them the diameter of the wire, you can tell them the length of the wire, all that kind of stuff. If I didn't have a stop here, this would just fall all the way to the bottom and it would have no spring, the spring tension for the track. So I just drilled a 1/4 inch hole on the drill press, 1/4 inch bolt, set it through. I use a washer on both ends of just about everything, because I can, I guess, I don't know. All right. Measured her. Tighten her up. There we go. Now it goes in that deep. And that will give my tracking arm the spring-loaded tension that it needs, if I can get it lined up. There we go. Okay. Now this tracking arm, I'm not going to go into details here because I do so in another video when we make the square wheel or the 4-wheel one. This again comes in a kit from Amazon. That link will be down there and below. This is literally a hinge, an undrilled hinge. You can buy these again on Amazon, and to which I could have just had the tracking screw butt up right against this. But because that's so short, a 1/4 inch turn on this would give it way too much. In other words, it'd be much too gross of an adjustment. So I welded this piece of flat iron, on there so that when I turn this, it doesn't give you, I have a little finer control over it. And that's all that this piece is. this is crowned a little bit, so it helps it with the tracking. Again, I'll put the link down in there, and then you can see it's drilled and tapped in there. I wouldn't have had to do that because I could have just drilled a hole, right, and then put one of those short little, for clearance here, one of those thin half-inch nuts on here. So I wouldn't have had to tap that, but I like to just, it seems to be a better way of doing it. That way you don't run into issues here. Okay, to assemble this guy, we just screw this guy down and then bolt that here. Let's do this first. We'll put the key in there, and then we'll slide this guy on. So the key lines them up right about there. We'll lock him down with the hex key. Okay. And now, how do we know where to put this? Okay. As far as in and out this way. Well, I got the spring out right now just because it's easier, but man, these things are heavy. Okay. I'll put that in there. Get some kind of straight edge. Okay, I'm going to use this long level. All right, and I'm laying it flat across here, right, so that I can see what plane this is on, and then I can see where this guy needs to go. So now I'm flat across here, and I'm flat across the upside over here. So that should be in the ballpark. So I'm going to screw this guy down now. Again, I'm just using construction screws here, okay? You know, it's just for prototype. When I actually put this together to make it a functional deal, I'll probably laminate, glue 2 3/4 inch pieces of plywood together to give me 1.5 inches thick, and then I'll drill holes in them and use carriage bolts for sure. And I will red Loctite everything down because these machines are subject to some vibration. So better safe than sorry. All right, I am going to put this bolt with a washer on through the 1/2 inch hole in the bottom. Put a couple washers there. Line it up there. Put a washer on the other side. Put a nut on the other side. And let's see, I'm just going to lean this here for right now. I'm going to get my comically large crescent wrench. Am I spinning that bolt? Nope. Okay. Okay. I'm going to put the spring down the yapper. I don't have a wrench within grabbing range here, so I'm just going to use a vice grip. Don't do that. Use a wrench. And I'm going to tighten this guy down a little bit. Okay. So let's try a belt on her. I'm just putting him off screen here. I'm pulling her down. Okay, so I'll try this by hand, and it looks pretty good. Okay, looks pretty good. Okay, I got this wired up as you have seen me do before. Just quick goes to a breaker outlet here so I can turn it on and off, and so if there's any problems, this breaker will trip. All right, so I'm rolling this by hand, and I'm adjusting the tracking by turning this knob in and out that basically changes the angle of the wheel up here. And I want to do it so that it seems to track okay now in a kind of a gross motor operation. I'll get to the fine tuning once I turn it on. Then I normally do this. I normally just pulse this on real quick. I got my hand on the knob here because this thing is spring loaded, and if the tracking is so far off that the belt comes off, I don't want this end piece to go flying. So, okay, I pulsed it. It looks completely fine, so I'm gonna let her rip. There you go. Project done. Maybe 40 bucks, a lot better than $925. Again, I will use some kind of angle iron piece. Grab it here. In here, that will be my platen, so I can sand stuff flat. I can, if I need to, hollow grind something on this wheel. It is only 4 inches in diameter, so that's probably not going to be, probably not going to use that a lot. But geez, for 30, 40 bucks, beats the hell out of $9.25. Again, I do need to absolutely, emphasize this. This is just temporary down here with those wood screws. Don't use wood screws or construction screws or whatever. Also, if you plan on making one, on this guy down here, I would use more than one bolt. I would probably use one bolt to get it to where I need it, and then I'd run a little tack weld on the side here so it cannot be adjusted for angle. Because when you adjust it for angle, because it's not on center line with the arbor of the motor, the length will change. You could weld it beforehand if you knew what you were doing, because you can also change the length by where you mount this on the plywood or the steel. If you move it further that way, of course, this will lengthen. If you move it further this way, this will shorten. So, it's open to your own proclivities as to where you want to put it, how you want to put it. But do be careful. I mean, these things vibrate, and this thing's spinning at 3450. You don't want belts flying. You don't want this guy flying off the end. So if you choose to make one, make it solid. Like I said, this is 2x2 1/4 inch square tubing and 1.5 by 1/4 inch square tubing. That stuff is heavy duty. This will last a lot longer than I'll be on this earth. All right, if you like this kind of content, you like to see what I'm doing, give me a like, give me a subscribe. Subscribe helps to build the channel a lot. I'll have all those links down in the description, and I will probably also maybe put some measured drawings of whatever this stuff is. I mean, that guy's 4-inch long piece of 3-inch angle iron. This is 28-inch long piece of square tubing, but it might help you out. Thanks again.